Hey y'all, it's me, Lynn Daniel, coming to you today from the Body Zone. This is my teacher YouTube channel here on YouTube where I talk to you about my life as a teacher. Today I am coming to participate in the When I Was in Blank Grade tag. It was started by Valeria from the Spanglish Maestra, and there are several teachers already signed up on the tag. Many of them did their videos already. I watched Ruth Diary of a Mad Black Teacher's video. It was excellent. I watched Valeria's video, and then I see where Megan, Too Cool for Middle School, has a video. Jeremy from the 1st grade cafe has a video up. So I'm going to go back and watch all the other videos of the participants on the tag. But I think I have 7 questions that I got from viewing Valeria's video, and I wrote them down, and I'm going to answer them about the grade that I will be teaching in the fall. I will be teaching 9th grade English in the fall, so I will be answering questions about my 9th grade year in school. So question number 1, describe your 9th grade classroom. Well, I don't recall anything spectacular about the classrooms, but I do recall the school. So I moved to that school in the 2nd semester of my 8th grade year. It was a middle school at that time. It had, I believe, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade there. So I attended that school from February until June when school was out for my 8th grade year. And then when 9th grade year started, instead of them sending us across the street to the high school, they kept the 8th grader, the rising freshmen, they kept us there in that building in a 9th grade center. And I think they sent the 6th and 7th graders back to elementary. And so there were about, I don't know, maybe 100 of us, I guess. I can't remember. But a small number of us freshmen there at that school in the 9th grade center. Now, the school, I remember that. So that's the structure of it that I remember. Now, the building itself, I remember because that building was beautiful. It was a massive school, huge. It was so long. I know it covered it seemed to me that it covered like a city block almost. I mean, it was long, down the street long, with a huge front lawn that was far back. The school sat far, far back from the street. And this lawn was so long that it would slope down like a rolling hill. And then it had these wrought iron fences and gates around the front. It was a very elegant looking building. And then steps, so it had 2 side entries on the front, facing front, with these 2 smaller entries, and then the main entry in the middle. It was just a beautiful building. Okay, number 2, describe your 9th grade teachers. So I remember I wrote the names down. So I remember I had a Spanish teacher named Mrs. Pace, but then she got remarried and her name changed to something else that I don't remember. I had Mrs. Holmes for typing, awesome teacher. Mr. Williams for art. Mr. Wallace, who taught us a class, I can't even remember what the name of the class was, but he taught us a lot of we did a lot of project learning in his class. Mr. Spain was the social studies teacher, and Mr. Murray was the math teacher. And then I had a lady for homeroom. I can't remember her name. We would start off the school day in her class. She would take attendance, and we would just sit and talk. And I can't remember her name, though. Nope, I can't. But she was very nice. Number 3, something you remember learning in 9th grade. So in 9th grade, I remember learning from Mr. Wallace how to develop film. So he taught us the process about, we had that old-fashioned film on a roll, and he taught us how to insert it in a camera, how to remove it from the camera, put it in the little container, how to expose the film, like how to hang the sheets up with the red light in there and expose the film. Then we will do a wash of the film or something, and and the film would develop right there in that little room that we made. And he taught us that. He also taught us how to make lotion and deodorant And what else did we make? Soap. And he gave us this fragrance. It was like a rose fragrance. And I think we used lard, lye, and all these ingredients that we blended together. And I remember him telling us these were things that he learned in World War II or in the war. And I believe he said World War II. So that stands out. And at the end, we got to take these things home. So we had proof of what we had learned that we could share with our parents. I said that one. Number 4, anything interesting or memorable about the year? Not really. No, not really. Number 5, do you remember who your friends were? So my friends included Melody Vernor, Curtis Whitman, Marty, Yolanda, Cassandra, Traven. I think his name was Traven. There were others. There was like we traveled by homeroom. I remember in 8th grade we did, and I think we did the same thing in 9th grade. It's kind of fuzzy, but I remember us being together so often to where I guess that's why we just were friends. We had so many of the same classes that we were friends. And also in 9th grade, Myra was a friend by then. Myra became a friend. Okay, number 6, do you do things similar to your 9th grade teachers? I think I do. Like Mr. Wallace did a lot of project-based learning with us where he allowed us to make those things that he learned in World War II. He transferred those skills to us. He taught us those skills and talked to us about, why those things were important, I guess. And then we made them. And I can remember using the products that I made. So yeah. And then I can remember like Mr. Spain, the social studies teacher, talked to us a lot about college and career readiness, health, and things of that nature. So health, and I can remember some of the stories he told us. Okay, I'm not going to repeat them on this video, but about life during different time periods in history and health and that type of thing. But I also remember him talking to us about college and career readiness, and he didn't name it that, but he would tell us about different jobs, different careers, and how much we could earn, and then, how our life would be. I can remember from Mrs. Holmes, her teaching us how to type and how I can still type thanks to her. Those skills easily transferred over from an electric typewriter to my keyboard for my desktop and my laptop. Okay, and then number 7, or any other random things I want to share about 9th grade. Yeah, in 9th grade, I was just a silly girl, and my personality is silly when I'm around people that I like and trust and don't feel like they're gonna, try to misappropriate my silliness, my quirkiness. So I can remember being silly and not really a serious student, but a very capable student. And there were students who were very serious. On top of it, scores were probably very strong scores. And I can remember Mr. Wallace gave us all an IQ test. And when my IQ test came back, he was telling me that I had a very strong IQ and what he thought I was capable of doing. So this high school my family had a friend who attended there, and I first learned about it, I was in 7th grade, and I desired to attend that same high school. So by 9th grade, they were screening us for high school, and they came and presented at the school, but I was not invited to attend the screening. But I guess one of the teachers must have spoken up for me, because when I went and enrolled, well, I had to apply. So I got the application and I applied, and I was accepted, and let's see, one, two, three, four, one, two, five of us from my friend group that I named. We were all accepted into this college prep, new, fairly new high school. Okay, and so even though I wasn't necessarily seen as one of the top kids by all the teachers, I'm sure I had some advocates. I'm sure they looked at my test score and they said, oh, she's silly, but she can handle it. Oh, she's, these are her weaknesses, but these are her strengths, like that. And so, yeah, I guess I'm saying that, you know, just make a goal and set out for it and do it. Even if you're not invited to the party, there are ways you can attend the party elegantly, and once you're there, make your mark. All right, so that's my video, you all. Thank you all for watching. Please thumbs up if you liked it. Share it with your friends if you liked it. And why don't you join it? When I was in blank grade tag, thank you, Valeria, the Spanglish Maestra, for starting this tag. And all right, I'm gonna go now. Bye.